A very warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Global TV News Prime, live in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I'm Uyag Mofwegwe. President Bola Tinubu has approved the return of a delegation of Islamic leaders to Niger Republic for another round of dialogue with the coup leaders to speed up the resolution of the crisis. President Tinubu, in his capacity as the chairperson of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, made the decision after a meeting with the leading clerics led by Sheikh Dahiru Bochi, who were recently in Niamey, capital of Niger Republic, 2 weeks ago for dialogue with the junta led by General Abdurrahman Tiani.
The group of Islamic leaders recently offered to interface with the coup leaders in Niger Republic on behalf of ECOWAS and got the approval of the president. Speaking to State House correspondents after the meeting, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, said President Tinubu remains committed to a peaceful resolution of the crisis in Niger, which is why he has mandated the Islamic leaders to continue the dialogue with the military junta leaders.
The next line of action is that dialogue will continue. Mr. President, as the head of ECOWAS, is interested in pursuing peaceful resolution of this crisis. But like I said, nothing is off the table. Mr. President has said he should continue to engage, and the ulamas will continue to do that. By the way, he has appreciated their effort to finding a solution to this issue. He's encouraging them to continue, and he has thanked them, and efforts are ongoing.
First and foremost, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the opportunity, and we appreciate and we commend the effort of His Excellency the President. And as you see, we have just met with him, and we told him all what went there in Niger, and he appreciated, and he still give us the mandate that we should continue to take this dialogue and discuss with those junta over there, because they gave us listening ear, and we are sure through peaceful discussion we will be able to achieve what we want.
Since the junta seized power from President Mohamed Bazoum on July 26, 2023, ECOWAS had imposed sanctions on Niger in response to the coup and has not ruled out the option of using force against the army officers. They subsequently interacted with the junta's head, General Abdurrahman Tiani, in Niamey. Recall that the ECOWAS has taken steps to show its disapproval of the military takeover in Niger by imposing a series of sanctions and ultimatums. The ulama, who are opposed to war with the Nigerian military as threatened by ECOWAS, said that apart from the dire consequences of armed conflict, they were enjoined by their faith and the Quran to seek mediation in cases like this before resorting to war.
Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa says Nigerian military will avenge killing of its personnel who were killed by terrorists during an ambush at Zungeru-Tegina Road in Niger State on August 14. The CDS stated these at Military Cemetery Abuja, where 20 of his deceased personnel were buried, maintaining that none of the assailants will go scot-free, adding that they would be hunted down by all means. Kikelamo Okere has details.
We must avenge this. Those that did this and those that have continued to kill our men, wherever they are, we will get them out, we will smoke them out, ensure that they never have opportunity to kill any other person.
The remains of Nigerian military who paid the supreme price during an ambush by the terrorists at Zungeru-Tegina Road and the subsequent jet crash that happened in Shekuba area of Shiroro, both in Niger State, arrived the Military National Cemetery at 8:45 a.m. They were adorned in full military regalia as the hierarchy of the Nigerian military, led by the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, paid last respect. Speaking after laying of wreaths on their graves and presentation of the national flags to the deceased next of kin, the Chief of Defense Staff condoled with the affected families, noting that the deaths of their loved ones would not be in vain. General Musa assured families of the fallen officers and Nigerians that the armed forces will not relent until they get those causing havoc in the country.
As we lay our fallen heroes to rest today, let us remember that their legacy lives in each and every one of us. Let us carry their spirit of bravery and selflessness in our hearts as we go about our daily lives. Let us be inspired by their example to stand up against injustice, to protect the weak, and to strive for a better future for our nation. The loss we feel today is immeasurable, but we must not allow it dim the light of hope within us. Instead, let us use this moment as a rallying cry to come together as a nation, to support our armed forces, and to work tirelessly towards a Nigeria free from the grip of violence and insecurity. We owe it to these fallen heroes to honor their memory by redoubling our efforts to create a safer and more prosperous nation for all.
A 21-gun salute was accorded to the deceased before their remains were laid to the ground at the National Military Cemetery, as scores of sympathizers, including family members and colleagues, bid tearful farewell to the deceased.
A group called the Women's Network has appealed to President Bola Tinubu to assent to the Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal of Sexual Harassment in Tertiary Educational Institutions Bill passed by the 9th National Assembly. The group similarly recommended that educational institutions in Nigeria should, as a matter of necessity, develop a sexual and gender harassment policy to safeguard the dignity of girls with a view to providing a safe environment for learning. The president of the Nigerian Association of Women Journalists, Nawaj Ladi Bala, made this call in Calabar while demanding justice for all the hapless female students of the Faculty of Law, University of Calabar, who have suffered unwarranted intimidation and sexual harassment from Professor Cyril Ndifon, the suspended dean of the Faculty of Law. Nawaj, which held the meeting under the umbrella body of the Women's Network, a women's rights group, while condemning the alleged sex for grade scandal involving Ndifon, noted that the alleged sexual harassment is the second of such reports against him and stressed that the such justice must be served this time around. The Women Network pointed out that the ugly trend, if not urgently addressed, is capable of truncating the educational and self-development of girls and women. President Bola Tinubu has rejoiced with Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umara Zulum as he marks his 54th birthday on August 25, 2023. The president, through his spokesman Ajire Ngalale on Thursday, felicitated with the family, friends and associates of the political leader whose vision and selfless diligence, according to the president, continued to inspire. President Tinubu said the Borno State governor had redefined leadership in Nigeria by fully recommitting to the welfare and security of his constituents above all considerations, driving a message of renewed hope in both the young and old, even as he builds institutions and infrastructure that were torn apart by many years of insurgency. You're watching Global TV News Prime, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When News Prime returns, President Putin reacts to death of Wagner leader. We will be back with these and more stories for you right after this break. To stay with us. This is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of the News Prime from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Russian President Vladimir Putin has indirectly confirmed the death of the Wagner mercenary chief Yevgeny Prigozhin the day after the crash of a jet that authorities said he was traveling in in an apparent tribute to his former close confidant, whose fighters played a crucial combat role in Ukraine. Putin called Mr. Prigozhin a talented man, Russian news agencies reported. He was speaking at a meeting with the Russian head of the Donetsk administration, Denis Pushilin. The Russian government agency in charge of civil aviation said Prigozhin was as well top Wagner commander Dmitry Yutkin were among the 10 people on board the Embraer plane that crashed on Wednesday in the Via region, about 300 kilometers northwest of the Russian capital. He said there were no survivors. No cause was given for the deadly crash, but speculation was rife, in particular after Putin had vowed inevitable punishment against the mutiny leaders who he had accused of treason. And back home, the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, has said most mainstream shipping companies that refuse to comply with their tax obligations get away with their actions due to poor enforcement of relevant laws by the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, Nigerian Ports Authority, NPA, and other government agencies operating in the maritime sector. The technical assistant to the executive chairman, FIRS, Olarinde Olufemi, stated that FIRS had issued a warning to international shipping line operators in the country to either regularize their tax affairs with the tax body by December 31, 2023, or face sanctions. The tax body, in a public notice posted on its Twitter handle, recently said it observed that many international shipping lines have refused to comply with the tax obligations imposed since December 2021. The Nigerian Telecommunications Commission, NCC, has disclosed that Nigeria was rated 11th in terms of internet penetration and 7th in terms of mobile phone usage worldwide. Executive Vice Chairman of the NCC, Professor Umar Dambata, said this at the opening ceremony of a two-day Emerging Technology Forum for the telecommunications industry in Abuja. The Executive Vice Chairman of the Commission, who spoke through the head Spectrum Database Management of the Commission, Abraham Oshadami, stated that worldwide data gathered by the NRI team demonstrated that digital transformation was a global need in order to optimize the social and economic effects of the digital era. He added that the NIRI examined the performance of 131 economies across 4 categories, including technology, governance, people, and effects. Dambata went on to state that as representatives of social and economic development in the country, prioritizing network preparedness is not only a strategic need, but a mission. The federal government on Thursday announced the electrification of 46,661 micro, small, and medium enterprises, as well as households and public facilities, with a total of 103 mini-grids. It announced this through the Rural Electrification Agency, adding that 103 mini-grids were deployed across the country under the performance-based grants subcomponents of the Nigeria Electrification Project funded by the World Bank. Speaking during the 10th mini-grid roundtable discussion, which was held virtually, the Managing Director, Chief Executive, REA, Ahmad Salihijo, said the agency was dedicated to bridging the energy access gap in Nigeria. Nigeria's gross domestic product, GDP, has slowed to 2.51% year-on-year in real terms in the second quarter of 2023. The growth rate is lower than the 3.54% recorded in the second quarter of 2022. According to the Gross Domestic Product report published by the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, on Friday, the growth decline may be attributed to the challenging economic conditions being experienced. The performance of the GDP in the second quarter of 2023 was driven mainly by the service sector, which recorded a growth of 4.42% and contributed 58.42% to the aggregate GDP. The agricultural sector grew by 1.50%, an improvement from the growth of 1.20% recorded in the second quarter of 2022. The United States Treasury on Thursday announced the sanctioning of 6 Rwandans and Congolese alleged to have contributed to the ongoing conflict in the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo. The U.S. Department of State said each of these individuals is contributing to instability in the Eastern DR Congo and, in many cases, perpetrating human rights abuses, including sexual violence and violence against children. The 6 include a commander in DR Congo's military, a brigadier in Rwanda's armed forces, and members of M23 Group and the Democratic Forces for the Liberation of Rwanda, FDLR. The sanctions will result in the freezing of the individual's assets in the U.S. The sanctions also prohibit the individuals from engaging in business with Americans or receiving or benefiting from supports in form of funds, goods, or services. As we take a look at sports for you now, Spain's Football Federation chief Luis Rubiales has apologized unreservedly during the federation meeting in Madrid after a week of heavy criticism over his unsolicited kiss on the lips of player Jenny Hermoso following Spain's Women's World Cup triumph. Rubiales has refused to step down as president of the Spanish Football Federation following his behavior at the Women's World Cup final on Sunday. The Football Federation chief apologized for the kiss on Monday before FIFA, while the World Football's governing body had opened disciplinary proceedings against him on Thursday. He defended his actions by saying he was trying to console Hermoso after she had a late penalty saved by Mary Earps. A professional wrestler and former World Wrestling Entertainment champion Bray Wyatt is said to have died on Thursday. WWE did not immediately release the location or cause of death, but said it was unexpected. The company announced he was 36 years old. Wyatt, whose real name was Wayne Rotunda, was the son of WWE Hall of Fame wrestler Mike Rotunda. Wyatt became WWE champion in 2017 and wrestled as multiple characters during his career, including as a member of the Wyatt family and as a nightmarish masked alter ego called the Fiend. For more on sports, let's join Sharon Ajay.
Nigerian superstar female athlete Tobi Amusan has suffered a defeat in the women's 100-meter hurdles crown to Jamaican's Daniela Williams on Thursday in Budapest, Hungary.
Harrison third from the right-hand side, but it's Devon Charlton who got the best start. Now she's clapped at the hurdles, trying to come through. Williams running really well on the far side. Kenny Harrison trying to get in the mix. So to Camacho Quinn, it might be Williams on the
26-year-old who was making her third World Championship final appearance finished off sixth at the event's final in 2023, clocked a time of 12.62 seconds in a distant position behind Jamaican's Daniela Williams, who took the title after clocking 12.43 seconds. Amusan failed in her bid to become the third woman in World Championship history to successfully defend the 100-meter hurdle title after Gail Devers achieved the feat 1991 and 1993, and Michelle Perry 2005 and 2007. In a different development, the Nigerian Football Federation (NFF) on Thursday has said it has paid match bonuses and allowances of the Super Falcons player last week Friday. The NFF president Ibrahim Gusau stated this while appearing before the House of Representatives ad hoc committee on dispute between the Super Falcons and the Federation yesterday in Abuja. For Global TV News, Sharon Ajay reporting.
And that's it on Global TV News Prime. We're on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles as you now see on your screen. I'm Oyagmo Fuegbe. Thank you so very much for watching. I'll see you soon.